Welcome back to the Loading Up podcast. I am your host, Producer J, along with one of my co-hosts, Brother Zay. How you doing, my friend?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I've been playing games, working, with life.
Doing the thing, man. Doing the thing.
Yeah.
So before we get into the show proper, I want to remind you that if you're watching on YouTube, you can like and subscribe because that'll help us out very much. And you can also comment, and we will read them and respond to you if we can. And also, if you look in the description, you can see that we have sponsors. You can see that there is W Energy, which if you click the link, you could save some money off your first order of W Energy. And there's also NordVPN, where you can save things like 68, 69. It always changes, or maybe I'm just always forgetting it. You can save some money off of your subscription to them, and also Starforge PCs for all your custom PC gaming needs. We thank you for supporting them, and we thank them for supporting us. That out of the way, what have you been playing, Brother Zay?
Oh man, I've been playing a ton of Assassin's Creed. I got like 27 hours into it.
Wow.
And I'm only on chapter 2.
Oh jeez.
But the chapters are very long, and it's a very big open world, lots of stuff to do. So I'm just, assassinating people, very bad people, not innocents.
Yes. No, we don't do that.
No, we don't do that. So yeah, that I've been playing Assassin's Creed, been playing some Fortnite with Brother Matt, and my go-to Rocket League and Call of Duty. That's it. That's what I've been playing.
Oh, nice. So you're pulling one of my usual weeks where I just play the same thing.
Yes.
It's funny. Actually, last week I kind of lied. So I did play a few games that I forgot to mention. Because I guess we were just talking about Split Fiction so much that I just forgot that there was other games that I was playing. So in addition to, like I said, I played the similar games, the WWE, Call of Duty, and I'm almost done with a Plug Esquire. I wanted to dedicate just to playing that, like on my breaks at work. Because I'm almost there. I could taste it. I'm like right at the end. I want to be done. I mean, it's a great game. I'm enjoying it, but it's just like, you ever get that thing where like you're close to the ending, and it's like, not that you hate the game or that like, but you want it to be over because it's just like you want to move on.
Yeah.
I deal with that every single game. It's just like I enjoy it, but then like right as I get close to the end, I'm just like, okay, come on, we're almost there. It's like, so I'm almost finishing that, but I do have a confession. I made the cardinal mistake of getting into Balatro.
Oh no.
Yeah, I wanted to try it out because I heard so many people playing it, and everybody was talking about how it's like crack, and it's like, I was like, how addicting could it be? And I'm here to tell you, they were right. It is very addicting. Like me too. Like literally, I had to stop myself because I was like, I wanted to play it more. Like I was even trying to see, and I mean, it's on the surface. Like if you, because like I was trying to see like how I can play it more. Cause like that's how bad it got. Because like I was playing on the Rogue Ally, and I was like, but I want to play it more. I want to play it on my phone. And thankfully, I mean, maybe not thankfully, but like it's available on cloud, but not with touch controls. So I can't play it like when I'm at,
No, but there's a phone version.
I know there's a phone version, but I'm not doing that.
Okay.
Because then I would have to buy it, and I'm just like, no, it's on Game Pass. That's the only reason why I even tried it.
You and Brother Matt are addicted to this.
Yo, it is, and I don't even know how to play poker. That's the thing. Like, and not to say that it's poker, but it's like poker hands.
Yeah.
But it actually is teaching me about poker hands, and so like it's beneficial in that regard. But it's just I think it's just because it's so simple that it's just like the barrier for entry is like next to nothing. Like you don't need to think about it, like other than going back to the reference sheet of what combinations you can make and stuff like that. It's very simple. But it's too simple to the point where you're just like, oh, just one more round, one more round, one more round,
I
and it's
know.
like, oh my god.
I'll tell you this much. When it came on Game Pass, I tried it out. I was like, all right, let's see what the hype is about. And let me tell you, I did not understand anything. I was like,
Really?
why do people love this? I couldn't get into
Wow.
it. I was like, this game is garbage, and I
Oh
deleted
my
it.
gosh. Wow, that's actually surprising.
I was I was I was just like, this is not even remotely fun. I don't know why people like this. And then I texted brother Matt. I was like, you have a problem.
Well, I guess I have a problem too, because
Now you have a problem too.
I do. And yeah, like it's
Uh,
I wouldn't even say I don't want to say it's like the best game ever. But
no,
it's
but
just
it won
so
Game of the Year for
addicting.
crying out loud.
Well, yeah,
And
I'm
that's
just saying
why
it's like
I was like, let's see what this is all about.
yeah, no, it's very addicting, and I think it's just that's like I said, that simplicity makes it so easy for you to just get into it, you know. But yeah, so I was playing that a lot, like I said, but I had to stop myself. I had to force myself to not play it because it's so easy for me to be just it's quick, like 2 rounds. What's that? And then that two rounds turns into the whole hour of my break at work. So,
Wow,
but
that's crazy.
yeah. I also did try Vampire Survivors.
Oh, that game I'm addicted to.
Yeah, that I can see why people would like that because that's another one where it's like so simple. I was wondering how the gameplay worked with that because like I know a lot of people would like go like super long rounds and get like all the upgrades and stuff like that, and I was
Yep.
just like, but how can you play for so long? Like it looks so like there's nothing to do. Like not that there's nothing to do, but it on the surface it didn't seem like there was much to it.
Yeah.
But as I'm playing it, I see, oh, okay, it's basically you just gotta dodge enemies, and
Yeah.
then
It's not get hit.
and then you just upgrade your stuff so that way you can dodge enemies easier. So
Yeah.
that's literally it.
I was playing that for so long. I got to the point where I could just stand in one spot and everything around me just dies and I'll
Yeah,
collect everything. It was just like, but it was so fun. It's so simple, so
yeah,
fun. See, like that game, it's like, it gives me an objective. I got to survive. Balatro was just like, whatever. I don't care about that. You know?
I mean, it's the
Vampire
same. You gotta
Fire.
survive.
Well, true, but like this is different. I'm a vampire hunter, basically. Killing ghosts and goblins and zombies. It feels more fun. I don't know, but that one is definitely addicting. I love it.
Yeah, no, I can see why that's very addicting too. I only tried it for like once, and like I would try it again,
Yeah,
but
you get to unlock different characters that have different abilities,
yeah,
and it's and the more you play, the more like weapons and stuff you unlock. Like you can unlock a garlic, and nobody
a
can touch you.
garlic. Oh
Yeah, yeah,
shit.
it's like literally garlic, and it sends out this waves of garlic, so nobody actually touches you. And then you upgrade that to where like it's a long distance, so you can just literally stand there and nothing can touch you. I mean, of course, you have to play a lot and upgrade a lot, but
Yeah, like you can't do it in just like your first run. Like it's gonna take
no,
multiple
yeah,
runs.
you need multiple runs, different characters to unlock different things, and you
Yeah,
gotta play a lot. So that's why it was so fun to me because like it's just mindless, just trying to survive. It was good.
yeah. No, it's a good game. It's a good time. But yeah, those two games, like, I mean, notorious for being heavily addicted. I decided to try,
Ah,
and
okay.
I honestly, also, I again, I stopped myself, but I got back into a little bit of Marvel Snap too. I don't know why. I just had an addiction. Like I wanted to play all the addicting games. it, it was not good, but
Let's be glad it's, games and not drugs.
yeah, it could be so much worse. Yeah, like, I'd rather be addicted to games than anything else.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, so that's what I was playing mostly.
Okay, very good, very good. I love to hear it playing some new games and some very cool addicting ones.
Yes.
All right, let's jump right into the news because we got some good news. We'll start out with some good news. Um, Game Informer. Game Informer is back. That's right. And all of its staff. So on Tuesday, they announced the editor in chief, or former editor, who's now the current editor, Matt Miller, announced that Gunzilla Games has acquired the rights to the gaming magazines, helping bring the site and its archives back online. And they jumped in. They have new articles on their website. They're talking about bringing back the magazine and the subscription service to help support them. Gunzilla Games created the battle royale title called Off the Grid. It's free to play.
Oh, okay.
So they are financially backing Game Informer to bring them back, and I'm really happy to see the full staff come back. You know, I've had Game Informer when it was, you know, tied to GameStop for a long time. Got the magazines. I used to collect like the every month they had like the cover art. I used to collect them all a long time ago, and it was really sad to see that GameStop just dropped them and, you know, closed down the whole Game Informer, and they laid off everybody. So I'm really happy to see that they're all back and they all got their jobs back, and that they're continuing to do what they love, which is report on gaming news, reviews, and everything in between about video games.
Yeah, no, this was actually very surprising too, because like it was just like a few months ago that they were shutting down, and they made a whole thing about it, and
Yeah.
now they're back, like fully back. It's like they were never gone at all,
Yeah.
and it's very rare to see something like this happen. But it's definitely a welcome one, and I'm glad that they were able to come back because, like, I was like you, like I collected the Game Informer things, like I would get them every month, and they would have interesting articles, and but I think it was mostly just the fact that like I grew up and
Yeah.
I didn't have a because it was like you said through GameStop, so I didn't have the membership anymore, and I kind of like fell out of it, but like I still appreciated what they offered,
Yeah.
for people who did subscribe, who were still subscribing, and they did have a lot of interesting stuff too. Like they always had the featured game, like every month they would have the featured game and have exclusives, like content and pictures, concept art, and all that cool stuff that you don't really see anywhere else. Like all the news outlets don't really do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's nice for them to be back like in full, and the magazine as well, and the whole staff is there. So yeah, no, this is just a good thing, and hopefully they're able to, you know, use this as an opportunity to innovate where maybe they wouldn't have been able to before. Because that's one thing that probably what led to them being closed was that maybe their former parent company didn't think they were doing enough, but now that I believe that they are fully independent. Like, yeah, they're
Yeah.
owned by the company Gunzilla, or yeah, but they have full autonomy.
Yes, they do.
They're not taking like cues or anything like instruction from Gunzilla. Like they are their own thing,
Yep.
and that's
They
good.
they did Matt Miller did say that they're operating as an independent editorial outlet under a new entity called Game Informer Incorporated. So they are
Yes,
completely on their own. They're just revived by Gunzilla Games, which is
yes,
really great, really good opportunity for Game Informer to really show the world exactly what, you know, they were made for. You know, I
right.
really am happy about this because I still had the subscription literally up until they, you know, GameStop basically got rid of them. I think what their big downfall was that they kind of tried to go all digital, and people lost interest in
Yeah,
reading on their phones, you know. And I know magazines are sort of like old school, and everybody does a lot of reading on their phones and stuff now, but I still think people, at least in the games media, having a magazine to flip through and see like new latest games or reviews of games, it's just a different form of media. I think they can survive with that magazine still in today's age. I think it's a great return to form, and I can't wait to see the new magazine come out.
yeah. No, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what they have planned for the future.
Definitely. All right, let's continue right on until we have some news out of Warner Brothers. They announced that they have canceled planned Hogwarts Legacy game expansion. So it was never fully announced that they were going to do an expansion. They were working on it, and apparently they just canned it, completely gone. They're not gonna continue working on anything for Hogwarts Legacy 1, but they did update and say that the development cycle for Hogwarts Legacy 2, it's still on and they're still working on it. I think they just want to go full speed. Everybody all working on to the new game because the first game was such a really big success. They don't want to hinder the development of a sequel.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think they, ever since that whole fiasco where they were like gonna focus on like multiplayer games and games as a service, but then they pivoted back and it's like, actually, no, never mind. Like we're gonna focus on single player tentpole titles and like utilizing their IP more. Um, yeah, I think ever since then they had to kind of reshuffle everything. So I think initially they probably had planned to do a DLC because maybe they didn't have a sequel planned at the time. But then once they changed things around and decided, no, let's do a sequel this time, like a full-blown sequel, not like a games as a service spin-off or whatever, then they were just like, okay, but if we're gonna do this, then we gotta cancel the DLC. And if so, it sucks because the game was great and the more content the better. But if it's to help the sequel, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But it does, like I said, it does suck that there's no more content to be. But I mean, the game is already full of content as it is. Like, honestly, like I know people like to, dive deep into these games and do everything that you possibly can within like a freaking like week or two. But it's just like that. I mean, that's on them. Like, there's plenty of content to go around to last you like months to, complete everything, unless you like want to no life it. But, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if this does indeed like kind of speed up the development for the sequel. But, yeah. Overall, like it's probably the best move, but it still kind of sucks.
I mean, they had tremendous success with Hogwarts Legacy. Despite it not getting any rewards because of the controversy, they didn't want to bring more controversy to them. But it sold 34 million copies, which is probably one of the best-selling games of all time.
Yeah, it's up there.
It's really up there. So this game had tremendous success. And then I know they're not going to just drop it because, with canceling just the DLC for the first game, they also canceled completely whole other games. Like they canceled Wonder Woman and other big franchises. So like just to know the fact that Part 2 is still in development, of course, because they want that money back. They want their money. 34 million copies the first time. You can just imagine what the sequel will bring. Maybe 34 plus million. Who knows? They're not gonna just let that go. But they need this, particularly after Suicide Squad failed and them losing hundreds of $1 million from that. Let's hope that they do the right thing and bring this out and do it in a way where it's not going to make people not buy it, where the development of the game itself goes well and they come out with a great story, and it really sort of shines on the Harry Potter universe, because although it is rifled with controversy due to the creator, the Harry Potter universe is beloved, and gamers obviously loved this game. 34 million copies is almost unheard of on a brand new game from a studio that was practically brand new, that they did mobile games from before. So it's good to see that the sequel is still coming out, and I can't wait for it, because I was one of those no lifers. I think I think I went into that game and just did everything in like maybe a month, and it was amazing. So hopefully I get that same sort of quality from the sequel.
Yeah, no, the reason why I say like there's plenty of content there because like my wife has been playing it. She's still playing it because like and this is one of the first games where she feels like on her own that she wants to like 100% like she wants to do everything that there is to do just because it's that good.
Good
So
luck.
yeah, no, and she's been at it for a while now. So that's what I'm saying. Like there is plenty of content to go around. Like if you haven't decided to do like everything in the game, like
Yeah,
go ahead, do it. Like it's there for you to do if you really want more out of this game. Um
sure.
but yeah, so like hopefully the sequel is able to live up to like the hype and hopefully it doesn't take too long to come out because I know this one did. I remember when we heard about this like 5, 6, 7 years ago and it was kind of like, is it gonna come out? Like and then there was like that trailer that leaked and um yeah, so maybe hopefully that they'll be able to now that I mean they kind of canceled everything else. Maybe they can like hyper focus in on like what they know is going to be a success
Yes.
and hopefully like bring it out a little bit sooner than it probably would have.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move right along. We're gonna get into some Xbox news. So, Xbox Wire came out with an article talking about introducing more in-game benefits for free-to-play games with Game Pass Ultimate for PC Game Pass as well as console games as well. So, Game Pass has been the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
They come out with games every month. It's absolutely banger. Especially this last month itself was so many games released this past week. They announcing that they're going to be releasing sort of cosmetics and characters and even in-game currency to those free-to-play games that people just love to play. They're starting out with Heroes of the Storm, Naraka Blade Point, Smite 2, and the finals, where you can get different cosmetics, some characters, as well as in-game currency, and it's going to expand some more in April to games like Call of Duty Warzone and Enlisted. Basically, any free game that you can download for free, if you have the Game Pass subscription, they're just gonna give you a little bit more benefits and start giving you more things for those games.
Yeah, honestly like this they've done this before where they've offered like things that like I remember they a while ago, I mean I don't remember how long ago, they would offer like exclusive skins for Halo Infinite,
Yeah,
where for like weapons and like vehicle colors and stuff like that. Like if you had Game Pass, you had to claim it, obviously, but it was there. But honestly, like they always did this, but it wasn't like anything crazy. Like it was always like little things here and there. But I really wanted them to do more with that, and I like that they're starting to recognize like, hey, a lot of people are subscribed to Game Pass, obviously, and it makes sense to want to at least because obviously if these games are free to play, they're not gonna be in Game Pass. But as a way to kind of still support them and encourage people to still subscribe even though they're free to play, why not offer more perks for like these games that aren't in the service, but you can still get more subscribers that way. Um but yeah, no, this is a good move and hopefully it's more expansive to like other games. Um and yeah, no, this is the stuff that you want to see
definitely.
Xbox do with Game Pass because that's part of what subscriptions need. Like they need enticing rewards for people who may not be wanting to subscribe just for like the games, even though that should be enough. But like maybe they do like they play free to play games mostly, so it's just like why am I gonna subscribe if I only play these free to play games? Well, there you go. Now you can get bonuses and skins and
Exactly.
currency. Like it actually does pay off even if you don't play everything on the service.
Yeah,
So
think about it like for PC in particular, Heroes of the Storm is free to play. They're giving anybody who has a Game Pass Ultimate subscription for PC and Ultimate, they're giving 30 characters, 30 different heroes that you would either have to pay for separately or grind a lot to get. They're giving
well,
you
yeah,
just 30
that's
characters, you know.
yeah.
Even in Naraka Blade Point, but this is also on console, cloud, and PC. They give unlocking all the heroes.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
no, that's really good.
yeah, it's amazing. So like these are some really good like freebies they're giving out to people who just subscribe to the Game Pass. And that's great. Smite 2, you're unlocking like 5 different heroes, a bunch of skins. The finals, you're unlocking a bunch of different like cosmetics, XP boosts, as well as like their in-game currency, the
Yeah.
multi-buck. So it's like they're giving away stuff that costs money, you know,
Right. Yeah.
that costs people money, costs people time, and this is just a little extra benefit that Game Pass is giving, and that's great.
That is
That is
great. And
absolutely great.
like I said,
That's great
hopefully
for us,
they
the consumers.
yes, that's one of the things that constantly makes Game Pass like the most pro consumer service on the market. And I'm hoping that they continue to do stuff like this.
I think they will. This is just the start, and more free to play games that do come out, like we mentioned earlier, Off the Grid is free to play battle royale. I'm pretty sure they'll start giving more into that game, and
Yeah.
of course, more into Call of Duty Warzone. They have the stuff planned. It's just gonna be great for the consumers. That's all it is.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to the next story. It's about Ubisoft. So Ubisoft and Tencent decided to create sort of a gaming subsidy uh for Ubisoft. Tencent has acquired 25% stake in this new gaming company that they're creating, a $1.16 billion investment, and they were going to be focusing on it's a new entities will include popular game franchises such as Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. So they're going to be really hyper focused on those three, in particular IPs. And Tencent is dropping money to be a part of it. They Tencent obviously is a Chinese multi conglomerate company, and they in exchange for the $1.6 billion, they're going to receive royalties, and they're gonna have the new entity will hold licenses for the intellectual properties of the games. So they're gonna have a big stake, and Ubisoft is apparently super excited about this because they get some extra cash flow, and they're gonna focus on the games that they think will bring in the most money to their company. This could be a good thing. I believe it will be a good and bad thing because if they're just focusing on just those three big IPs and franchises, what about everything else? What happens to the rest of the company? Are they gonna do layoffs or what's gonna happen? So there's a lot of gray area that we still don't know about, and I mean it's a good thing for those franchises and for the future of the company for that aspect, but the other side of it, we have no idea. We just have to completely wait and see to see what happens.
Yeah, this type of deal is kind of unique in the way that they went about it. Like it's not like Tencent is buying a stake in or they I mean I guess they are, but like it's not through traditional means. Like they're creating a kind of like a separate company
Yeah,
underneath Ubisoft that they're being a part of that will have control of these three franchises. I guess they could add more later on. I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just a weird scenario. But like it did solve Ubisoft's problems short term at least because we were talking about last week about how Ubisoft is kind of like in a hole here. They were relying on Assassin's Creed to, you know, mend everything that they've been dealing with, which is kind of stupid. You probably shouldn't put all that pressure on one game being successful. Um, but now I guess they don't have to worry about that, and they kind of just gave up the whole entire Assassin's Creed. Kinda like again, this whole situation is very unique. It's kind of unprecedented in a way. Um, but yeah, like you said, we still don't know what this means like overall for like the other franchises. I'm assuming that everything kind of just goes on as it were. Like they'll still publish games, they'll still release all their other games that they have planned, but when it comes to those specific franchises, Tencent has a say. So I don't know. Like it's very weird.
It's
And
definitely weird.
yeah, we're gonna see how this plays out. Um, in terms of what, if any, does Tencent have to offer to these franchises? Will they make it more grindy games as a service type games, which is not the greatest thing ever? There's also the aspect that it's freaking Tencent, like they have their hands in freaking everything,
Yeah, they do.
and the idea of having them gain more power in like the service or the games as a service stuff, or just even games in general, is it's a little bit worrisome just given their history. But um yeah, I mean, good for Ubisoft, I guess, that they were able to kind of,
Stay
push,
afloat.
yeah, stay afloat, kick the can down the street, um but yeah, I guess we'll see more about what this actually means when, I guess, more games of the franchises that are under this new umbrella come out, because Assassin's Creed just came out. I don't know if they're gonna make another Rainbow Six. um
Well, they're doing the Rainbow. I think it's Rainbow Six X or Rainbow X, which is like a sequel to Rainbow Six Siege. So,
oh, it is, okay.
yeah. So they're doing that for sure. I don't know what else they're gonna be working on. I know Far Cry is due for a game coming out because 6 came out like 2 years ago. So they do have some stuff cooking apparently, because I mean, why would
Yeah, why
why
would they
would
include these games?
Tencent just drop 1.6 billion into, Ubisoft without games cooking,
Yeah,
It
you're
wouldn't
right.
make sense. So hopefully we do have some more news to come about the games that they'll be working on, as well as what it means for Ubisoft in general.
Yeah, and I also wonder, that whole thing we talked about last week about Ubisoft selling off their IPs. What was this? What they were talking about? Because
Maybe.
Tencent wasn't mentioned. It was EA and Microsoft.
Well, they did
Uh,
say that it was other companies, but they didn't say what other companies.
okay,
And
so they've just name dropped EA and
yeah, they
Microsoft.
name
Okay,
dropped EA and Microsoft because they were like one of the biggest ones, you know?
okay.
You know?
Well, then I guess, but would would that be part of this, or is this it? Would there be more?
It could be more.
I wonder if
We only
like,
got 3 of the franchises that they're known for, so hopefully it could be more news to come.
yeah, I wonder if they're still like in talks with other companies for like maybe their other games, or other IPs. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll
But
see.
like I said, this is a very unprecedented. But yeah, like I said, we'll see.
Yeah. All right, let's get on because we had an actual Nintendo Direct the other day.
I didn't even know that they freaking announced it. I didn't even know they had one. I just started seeing stuff on Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is sort of the final Switch Direct because the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct is happening April 2nd,
Next
which
week,
is
yeah,
literally a couple days from today.
yeah,
So, this is the final sort of talk about all these Switch games, and they announced some really big games, and well, they showed us more gameplay for Metro Prime 4 Beyond. They announced some, or not even announced, it just showed us some more stuff with Dragon Quest. They showed us even some new games or games that haven't been around for a long time, like Tamagotchi Life, which people were super excited for.
yeah,
They announced so much, even some PlayStation games showed up here. That's
yeah.
right, PlayStation owned IP games. Um, what was it? Hot Shot Golf. They
Yeah,
announced,
Hot Shot Golf. Everybody, I
yeah,
think it's everybody, everyone. I forgot, but it's
yeah,
their golf game. And then there was another one like Topeka,
yep,
something like that.
yep, yep. It's there was a lot of what I like to call campy games.
Well, yeah,
That they announced and showed some more of. They showed some more Pokemon Legends ZA, some more combat. some Pokemon battles. Rhythm Heaven Groove. It's coming to the Switch in 2026. So I'll assume it will be for the Switch and the Switch 2 if it's coming
Yeah.
so late in the generation. They announced like High on Life is coming May 6th. They so many different games. One thing that I saw that was like really interesting and was coming this holiday was Marvel Cosmic Invasion, sort of a beat
Oh
'em up,
yeah.
which looked really cool. Can't wait to get into that. Um, and they also let's just jump right into it because this was a big part of the Nintendo Direct. They're talking about the Nintendo Virtual Game Card System. This was confusing to a lot of people because Nintendo's dipping their toes and trying to be a little consumer friendly here,
Yeah.
and they're allowing people to share their digital game library with the same. Let's say if you have two Nintendo Switches like I do, I don't know why. That's another question for another time. We can share digital games. They do have some caveats with that. Like you can only share it for I think it's like 2 weeks, and when it's being shared, the one can't play it or versus the other. Only one of the Nintendo Switches can play it. But they did offer something for Nintendo Switch families, where if you're in a Nintendo Switch family, you can share digital games again for 2 weeks, and just allow your family members to play the games that say you buy if they don't have, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
It's a step in the direction for them being more consumer friendly because Nintendo is very nope, you got to buy it again,
Yes. Yes.
which I have done. I've brought like 2 copies of
I no, go ahead.
just so many games I've brought
Yeah.
two
No,
copies of because you can't share them.
yeah, I've done that a few times. I did it with like Mario Kart and
Exactly.
Splatoon 3
Oh
where like
man.
I had to buy it because I can't share. We can't play on one Switch. We gotta each individual one.
Yeah.
With Mario Kart it was more so that we could play it, but it's like they didn't want to play on the same screen. And I was just like, fine.
I
But
get that though. I get that.
yeah, I mean, because the Switch, like, it's not it's old console. Like, it's
Yeah.
even playing split screen. It's hard because it's all pixelated and it's hard to see. And
Mhm.
yeah, maybe it worked 10 years ago, but or not 10 years ago. What? How long has it been? 7 years?
Yeah.
Um,
A better half of 10.
yeah, half of 10. But...
Yeah.
No,
I
I
mean,
am honestly, I'm actually shocked that this is Nintendo we're talking about. Like Nintendo's one of the first ones to do something like this because we don't see that from Xbox. We don't see that from PlayStation. I mean, on Steam you kind of could do it, but it's still limited. Like you have to like be in the like you could share games, but it's like I'm sure there's like caveats to it. Like we can't like outright just lend the game to somebody. Like
well,
I don't know how that works.
so in Steam, how it works because I do it with brother Matt. We have access to both each other's libraries, every game that we own. The only thing is, if you want to play together, you would have to buy your own copy. So
Okay,
he
so
could play.
it is
He
like
could
this then.
play. Yeah, he could play my games, but I can't play that same game if he's playing it.
Right. Okay, so then it is like this. Then
Yeah.
well, all right, so but still Steam is very consumer friendly and to see Nintendo be the next one to do it is kind of weird in itself. Like
Yeah.
if anything, and I know Xbox has been trying to do the Game Pass family plan and they were testing it out and they in like other countries and then they stopped it and I guess they got the data that they needed. Apparently it's because EA doesn't want their games to be part of it and Microsoft does. So I think that's the holdup. I'm sure they're gonna have to come up with like a kind of like a solution to be like, okay, if you want a family plan, it excludes EA games and stuff like that. But then how do you market that? And I'm sure there's a lot of headaches going around. But
in particular with Xbox though, they do have a really good sharing system because you can play the same game at the same time. Because me and my wife do it all the time. You can game share. You can set your home Xbox so that way, like my son doesn't have access to Game Pass Ultimate if it wasn't for him and my brother doing the home Xbox situation where
Right.
so there is a lot of consumer friendly stuff going on with Steam and Xbox. It's just shocking to see it coming from Nintendo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Nintendo of all companies would be like the last ones to do this type of thing, but here they are, they're doing it, and it's not as bad as it seems. I'm curious if there's gonna be some limitations to certain games. Like, is it all games, or is it just Nintendo games, or is it Nintendo approved games? I don't think they did specify.
They didn't,
So
but from what I see, it's basically any digital game. You
maybe
know,
that's part of like their new licensing for like the Switch too. Because I
yeah,
know
it's
that's
gonna be compatible with both Switch and the Switch 2.
yeah. So I wonder if that's like part of like if you're gonna bring it to Switch 2, you have to make it like able to share the license. And honestly, like because Nintendo's doing this, I can very much see like maybe Xbox and PlayStation following them, just because I feel like if Nintendo's doing it, then why not? But again, I don't know what goes into that type of stuff. So, um, yeah, no, this is very pro consumer, and it's good to see. I'll definitely be using it because I told you I have kids that they want to play stuff, and I don't
Yeah,
want to have to buy it again. Or that's honestly that's the main reason why, like for the Switch, I bought physical cartridges because I know I have other people that want to play it, and it was a headache whenever I did want to play. Like for example, Smash Brothers. I bought that digitally, and then my son wanted to play it, but he can't unless he's on my profile. But then I will have to put my profile on his Switch, and then he has to play
yep,
on my profile. But then he wants to play his own profile. It was like it's a headache.
it is.
So the fact that they're finding a solution to that is actually really good, and I like that they're moving in this direction. Hopefully, others do as well.
Yeah, we definitely need to see more consumer friendly stuff happening at Nintendo for
Yes,
sure, because they have not been in the past.
yeah, they have
They
not.
they have been anti-consumer. Buy us, and that's it.
Yes,
Buy 3 or 4 Switches or 3 or 4 games each. Who cares? I
right.
mean, it worked for them because obviously we did.
Well, I think they're gonna have to find different ways because especially now, like with the younger generation, like
Yeah,
they just care about Roblox and Fortnite. So I
yeah.
think Nintendo's got to get smart about how they manage that. They can't just do anything and get away with it. Like they got to think about it a little bit.
Definitely. They definitely have to start thinking about the consumer because it's not just kids that play the Switch. Lots of adults play the Switch. They do it on the go because it's so easily convenient for them. They don't have to sit
Yeah,
at a couch or a PC, at a desk. So it's very, let's say, just going in the right direction for them. It's very good that they're doing this.
yeah,
Hopefully, it gets better because it is a bit confusing if you don't read exact rules and stuff. It's weird. Like I saw people online discussing it, and they're like, "Well, it's can we do this with this game?" And they just didn't know. So more news needs to come out about it, exactly how it works, and just break it down a little bit better.
Oh, I wonder if this is something that will be available in the that testing thing or that preview event that they're having at the Nintendo stores.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because that's supposed to be happening soon, and actually next week. So I wonder if like they'll get a hands-on with this feature, so that way they can test it out and see like what it actually is, what it entails, what are the limitations, if any, and hopefully we get an answer for that.
Yeah, I mean this thing is supposed to start happening in late April, so I'm sure we'll see more of this virtual game card system in the coming weeks.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Now, to the last bit of news that we have, Activision user research workers form union under Microsoft. That's right. Excuse me, unionization in the gaming industry continues to grow as Activision users, research workers form a union, and Microsoft just allows it to happen. They're not going to be union busting. They're not going to be trying to fight against them. They're like, if you want to unionize, unionize, and they voted, and that's it. It's done. They're going to be forming the union. Um, which is really great news because as you can see from the gaming industry, uh video game developers and just everybody in that industry does not know if they'll have a job after a game is released,
Hmm.
even if the game is successful, you
Right.
know. So having a union to back you up to keep your job so that way you can continue working at the same company instead of having to uproot your life and your knowledge and everything you know about video games to a whole different company because you just got laid off after working for 3 or 4 years on a particular project. Unions are good. We should not be uh working against them, and I'm glad Microsoft is just like, go ahead, unionize, no problem. We'll make discussions later after you finalize your union, which is refreshing to see, and really good news coming out of Activision.
Yeah, no, obviously, like unions are always a good thing, especially in the gaming industry. As you said, like with all the layoffs that's been happening, like it's really like touch and go for a lot of these developers, and that's not a way to like live, you know? You don't want to wonder if like you're gonna still have a job in the next few months after the game's release. Um, but yeah, no, unions are definitely much welcomed in the gaming industry, but and it was weird because when we first heard about this news, like on Twitter, uh, it seemed like people didn't really understand like what this meant, and it's like they were kind of complaining because, I mean, granted, it's Twitter's not the best gauge of
No.
of reactions. Like people will always bitch about something. But it seemed like a lot of people were kind of upset at this because for some reason they blame Activision for like why, because it was Call of Duty, like it was the Call of Duty, I think like play testers or something like that.
Well, quality assurance.
Quality assurance, yeah, and apparently they blame them for why they think Call of Duty is bad, which first of all, the quality assurance team, they're not like actively making decisions. They're making sure that whatever is available works properly and isn't going to like break the game. And that doesn't necessarily mean that whatever uh points and tips that they give the developers, like act that the main developers are gonna actually get implemented. They just give them what they're supposed to do, which is like to make sure that it works. And it's on the developer to do it. But like any issues with the game itself, it's not because of them. So I think that there was like a misunderstanding. And but even then, unions should still be encouraged in the gaming industry because it only encourages more unions.
And NA
And
industry.
in any industry, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like we should never like frown on upon them, even though they can be in certain instances like a hassle to deal with. Overall, it's beneficial, and I think we need to encourage it more, especially in the gaming industry, because it's such a cutthroat industry where, like we said, like you can lose your job even if the game is a success.
Yep.
So, yeah, props to them, and I'm glad that Microsoft is continuing to stick with their word about not union busting and making sure that these unions are acknowledged and recognized.
Yeah, definitely. It's really a like we don't want to sort of listen to the loud minority online who talks about oh, this is not good, this is, we shouldn't be doing this. That's just bullshit. You know, we should be encouraging developers and QA and anybody who wants to unionize because it will hold down their jobs. People need jobs to survive. Just what it is, you know, just how the world works, and we can't just have 50, 60 people get laid off after every game that gets released. You know, they worked hard on these games, and people don't understand how hard. Sometimes these quality assurance people are playing literally the same exact level over and over, trying to find bugs and things
Right.
that's wrong with the game. It takes time. It takes, patience. You imagine playing one little part of a game. I'm talking about a tiny 5-minute segment over and over and over again for hours upon hours, just to make sure that it's working perfectly fine, so that way when the consumer, us, gets it, that it's working as should be.
Right.
They're an important part of the development cycle, and they should be recognized as, being that important part and keeping their jobs.
Right.
Yeah. So just more good news out of Activision and Microsoft. I'm glad that Microsoft isn't being a bully here,
Yeah.
because
I mean,
they have they could just be like no and just like stop it.
yeah, and yeah, again, that was what I was saying. Like a lot of people is just like, oh, well, more layoffs are coming. It's like, no, that's not that's the opposite of that. Like, what?
Exactly. What?
People just don't understand what this thing means. So I don't know. It was just funny.
Yeah. Yeah, people just need to, chill.
Yeah, they need to chill, definitely.
Yeah. All right, that's all we got for the gaming news.
That's it. So remember, if you're watching on YouTube, you can like, comment, and subscribe. Definitely helps us out, and we want to interact more for our audience. Also, remember, you can follow us on our socials. I know I don't really mention that, but we do post stuff every now and then, and we'll try to be more active on it. I know I've been kind of slacking because there was times where I wanted to make like clips, and then I did it. I got all the way to like the editing stuff, and then like I got distracted, like because I usually do it like on my commute to work and stuff like that, and I forgot that I was doing it, and it was like, oh shit, I was supposed to do that, and then. But yeah, life happens. But yeah, we're definitely gonna be posting more and stuff. You can follow our sport. You can support our sponsors, W Energy, NordVPN, and Starfort Systems. All the links will be in the description. And yeah, thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.
Peace out.